The question is, what's the origin and where is this supposed to lead, and why suddenly it's all, oh yeah, we're going to let you see, when it's the last thing they wanted to do before? Well, there was a Canadian investigative journalist called Serge Monas in the 1990s. And he said he'd uncovered a plan called Project Bluebeam, in which global society would be transformed using the excuse of a fake and staged alien invasion, the alien threat. By 1995 and 1996, Monas said he was being hunted by the police and authorities for involvement in networks of prohibited information. He'd homeschooled his two children, and they were then literally kidnapped by the state, taken into care so they'd have a public education, public programming. And Monas died of a heart attack at his home in December 1996, aged just 51. And it happened the day after he was arrested and spent the previous night in jail. Now, I've heard from other sources the same thing and the similar plan. And I've been waiting for this alien card to be played ever since. It would seem I have to wait no longer.
And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. A lie. I think I was too naive to know at that time the seriousness of the nature of the spin that was being put on the system. And now the pieces are starting to fall into place. We're building a space-based weapon system based on a premise that is a lie, a spin. And Wernher von Braun was trying to hint that to me back in the early 70s and right up until the moment when he died in 1977.
And of course, it's not just weapons in space that you can justify if you sell the idea of an alien threat. You can transform society in so many other ways. The world is not like people think it is. It's not like people are told it is. And one of the greatest diseases of the human psyche is naivety. That those in authority have your best interests at heart and don't want to lie to you, so you'll perceive events the way they want, and you will behave in relation to those events the way they want. So, like I say, I'm not saying that everybody in this arena suddenly the aliens are here are knowingly lying. I'm not saying that that some of them, probably many of them, have not seen what they claim to have seen. My question is, A, why is it all being allowed to come out now? And B, what other levels of the compartmentalized structure know far more than those lower down who are coming out and making this public? I've been pointing out all these long years that human society is being manipulated by a non-human force that operates outside of the the visible light field of vision that humans can see. That's why they can enter that visible light frequency band, and they appear to have come out of nowhere. And when they leave that frequency band, they appear to have disappeared into nowhere, but they haven't. They haven't appeared or disappeared. They've just entered that narrow band of frequency that humans can see and then left it. And so, because the nature of reality itself is kept suppressed from the general population, when people say, honestly, this UFO, it just appeared out of nowhere and then it disappeared into nowhere, people say, you're mad, mate, that's not possible. No, don't confuse what you think is possible or been told is possible with what is actually possible. So this so-called alien force, and it takes many forms, reptilian, but other forms too, has been manipulating human society all along through this global cult of secret societies, which is fiercely compartmentalized, so only a few actually know the full truth of what's going on. And we shouldn't also kid ourselves that the limit, the apparent limit of human technology and potential is what we see. That's why you've got people, from the military who only see one level of it. They're flying, they think the cutting edge of technology. And they say, oh no, this could not possibly be anything but out of the bounds of what humans can do and what humans can create and what humans know. No, out of the bounds of what the vast majority of society, including most of the military, are allowed to think is the limit of possibility. When I was traveling around America in the 1990s, or when I first started to anyway, I met loads of whistleblowers from the industrial military intelligence complex who told me about what we call alien craft being flown by humans, being kept in the secret bases, the absolutely beyond top secret bases around America. And so when someone looks up and they see this flying saucer craft, they say, oh, it's the aliens. Well, not necessarily. If you compartmentalize technological knowledge from the public and hoard it in the secret bases, then when you fly them around, they think alien. And so not necessarily is it true that these craft have to be of non-human origin. And we shouldn't forget also that this cult, as it plays out in the public arena, just off the public arena, is actually being driven by the military. So, when you become president of the United States, there's enormous amounts of information you're never allowed to see by the military. And because it's the military, compartmentalization of knowledge becomes a cinch, a doddle. You're only allowed to know what you need to know to do your job. And so it's not surprising that it's coming out that the military, not Pfizer and Moderna ultimately, but the military that was orchestrating the whole COVID jab rollout. The military is where it's coming from, and the military is what is behind this alien threat hoax we're now seeing unfold. Imagine what you could justify in transforming human society if you could convince people they were under threat from an alien force. Almost anything you could justify. And that is what this is all about. And it's absolutely vital that people do not believe anything authority tells them until it is solid gold proven fact. And that includes not following and believing in these billionaire people who are put now on pedestals to lead us. To lead us where? To lead us into a dystopia, while telling us they want the opposite, which is appropriate because next on the Dot Connector this week, I come to Elon Musk.